guys, welcome back to Authenticated. So today I'm going to do a quick video. Was going to be out last night, but I'm going to do a quick video today just running down my top 25 picks. Generally my Wednesday videos are going to have more in-depth coverage. This week's kind of like a weird week because we have games starting tonight, Thursday, running into Friday and Saturday, and even some games on Labor Day. So this is kind of a weird week where everything doesn't line up schedule-wise. So basically what we're going to do is I'm just going to run down my picks, talk about a couple of the key games, key matchups, and we'll go from there. Now, on the sports.yahoo college pick'em league that I have had all you guys sign up to, we've only got like a few people, man, so if you guys are watching the videos, get on sports.yahoo, Yahoo Fantasy, alright, and sign up to the Authenticated league. If you go back to the first video, I have all the details down inside the actual like video details, so all the login information. It's also inside the video, so if you watch the video, you can also see it that way too. But sign up because you guys get to pick along with me, and there's some cool prizes at the end of the season as well, so it's definitely worth signing up for. So anyway, let's get right into the games. So I'm just going, I mean, they're in no particular order. I'm just going in off of the way that Yahoo has them on their league. So game number 1 is going to be the Washington and Rutgers game. I do have Washington picked in that game. Rutgers, Big Ten team, they're not one of the stronger Big Ten teams, but Washington, you know, especially after making it to the college football playoff last year, I do see them being heavy favorites in this game. Moving on down to Wisconsin and Utah State, I have Wisconsin. I've always said historically Wisconsin's defense can go, you know, toe-to-toe just about any team in the country. Now this year should be no different than any years prior. Wisconsin does come in preseason ranked number 9. Utah State, of course, not being ranked, so I do have them as heavy favorites in this game as well. Moving on down to Clemson, number 5, playing Kent State. I have Clemson winning that game, of course. It should come as no shocker. I do have Clemson in my playoff picks as well. If you guys watch video 1, you would know that. Going on down, Penn State, number 6, have them playing Akron. Of course, I also have the winner of the Penn State-Ohio State game in my college football playoff picks. So, of course, naturally, I'm going to have Penn State beating Akron. Moving to Texas versus Maryland. Now, this is a number 23 ranked Texas against Maryland. Now, Texas being ranked 23rd, and with Tom Herman taking that team over, a lot of people are, you know, on the Texas hype train this year. Now, here's my thing about Texas. There's a lot of talent. Charlie Strong had no problem bringing in talent to that team. The problem was with the coaching. So, regardless of that, I do have an upset picked here with Maryland. Now, you would ask me why. I have a lot of coverage on Big Ten teams as that I have the Big Ten Network at home, and I watch a lot of preseason stuff on a lot of the teams. Maryland is one of those teams that has a dangerous backfield and running backs. They have 2 running backs on that team that are phenomenal. And I just see them coming into this season with a lot of hype. I mean, they have a lot of energy surrounding that program right now. If they can make it over that hump with Texas, Maryland could have a great season. I would hate to see them, honestly, start off this season with a loss to Texas, although Texas is the heavy favorites in this game. So, but moving on, that is one of my upset picks this week, Texas being on upset alert. Moving on, I have number 18, Miami, playing Bethune Cookman. Bethune Cookman. Never even heard of that team, to be honest, and I watch a lot of college football, so that's interesting. Miami, big in that game. I have number 7, Oklahoma, playing UTEP. Of course, I'm going to go with number 7, Oklahoma. That's a pretty easy pick there. Moving on, we're getting into the Michigan and Florida, number 11, Michigan, number 17, Florida game. A lot of people that know me would know that there's no way Alex picks Michigan in this game, and of course I don't. But that is not because I'm an Ohio State fan, as you can see right here. Mainly, the reason I am picking Florida to win this game is the departure of a lot of key players off that Michigan team, and them not necessarily coming out right off the bat with a quarterback pick. Neither did Florida necessarily, but I still see Michigan as the team that is rebuilding more than I see Florida. Not that Florida is an established program at this point either, but I do see Michigan, of course, being the lesser of so. So either way, I do have Florida picked against Michigan this weekend. Moving on to South Florida, number 19 against Stony Brook. Of course, I'm going to go with South Florida. Charlie Strong actually moving to South Florida. So just talking about Texas, and he'll be taking over that South Florida program. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out this weekend. Number 4, USC versus Western Michigan. Of course, I have USC. Of course, I have USC in my playoff picks. So, of course, I'm going to have them picked in this game. Georgia against Appalachia State, number 15 Georgia. Of course, I have them picked. Now, watch out for Appalachia State, because just a few years ago, I mean, if it's not in my recent memory, Appalachia State came in and beat Michigan opening week. Okay, an unranked Appalachia State beat Michigan opening week of college football. This is just a few years back. Kansas State, number 20 versus Central Arkansas. I have Kansas State picked in this game, of course. Louisville playing Purdue. This is a tough game for me, because this is a number 16 Louisville team against a tough Purdue team. Now, I know you people are sitting here saying you're hyping up the Big Ten, you're hyping up the Big Ten, you're hyping up the Big Ten. Here's the deal. The Big Ten, in my opinion, is the strongest conference this season coming into. Now, I do think the Big Ten is definitely more top-heavy than a lot of other conferences, but I still think overall the Big Ten is going to show that it is the best conference in college football this season. Moving on, I do have Louisville picked to win that game over Purdue, but I do think it's going to be a tighter game than what most people think. Moving on, I have number 12 Auburn against Georgia Southern. Of course, I have Auburn picked to win that game. And then we get into the real meat and potatoes of this weekend. So, Alabama number 1 versus Florida State number 3. Okay, I have Alabama winning this game, of course, but coming down the stretch, I know after last week's video, I talked a lot about how, this game was going to be closer than everybody thinks it is, and people think that Alabama, is the much better team here. I do not think that is the case. Now, granted, I think it's opening week of college football. I think that anything can happen opening week. Teams that are very good teams that will prove themselves down the stretch will lose games this weekend. Some of my picks will be wrong this weekend. There will be upsets, but I do not think one of those upsets is going to be the Alabama-Florida State game. I just don't see it happening. Alabama just through and through is the deeper team, the more talented team, so I do see them winning that game. A lot of people ask my predicted score on that game, and I think they actually made me pick it on here. I picked 31 Alabama, 24 Florida State. So that is my pick for score in that game as well. Moving on to number 13 LSU versus BYU. Of course, I have LSU picked in this game. Number 24 Washington State versus Montana State. I have Washington State picked to win that game. Number 21 Virginia Tech versus number 22 West Virginia. Maybe the most even game this week. This could be the contender for best game of the week to watch. Virginia Tech wasn't too awfully long ago that they upset us at home, and that was a nightmare. Not knowing a whole lot about either team, West Virginia is known for defense. So if I had to pick of the two teams, I'm going to go with West Virginia. And this is a rivalry match, because you're talking both the Virginias. And I really think that this is a great opening game for both of these teams. I mean, to come in with a rivalry game like that, I think is pretty awesome. So maybe not as high profile as the Alabama-Florida State game, but nevertheless, West Virginia, Virginia Tech is also going to be a very good game this weekend. And to round off the top 25, Tennessee number 25 versus Georgia Tech. I have Tennessee picked to win that game. Get your picks in there, guys. I'll have a recap video for you guys on Sunday, so you guys will be able to see how my picks fared. I feel pretty confident in these picks. Yahoo has a confidence scale that you pick for each game. I'm pretty confident in most of my picks this week, and there are a couple ones like the Maryland upset I picked for Texas, and a couple other ones that I could be wrong on. Tighter games like the BYU game could be a little tighter. But regardless of that, I think my picks are pretty strong. So we'll see. This is opening week, so there is a lot of bigger name schools playing smaller name schools. So, which if we're getting into the playoff, you know, and talking about extending the playoff, this is the exact reason. And I understand these smaller schools, they need to be able to have these high-profile games to bring money in for their programs. I understand that, and to bring TV time to some of these schools that generally don't get it, and I get that too. But everybody wants a better playoff. Everybody wants a bigger playoff, and the only way that that's ever going to get done, in my opinion, is by stopping these 2 non-conference games at the beginning of every year, playing a full conference schedule, and then taking the winners from those divisions and 3 wild cards. So 5 of your Power 5 conference champions against 3 wild cards. And that doesn't mean that only a conference champion can make it to the playoffs. You could have another team within the same conference make the playoffs. Think, case in point, Ohio State, Penn State last year. Penn State reserved every bit as much as Ohio State to go to the playoffs last year, and we did, and laid a goose egg to Clemson 31-0. I mean, I hate to say it, but, you know, what would have happened if Penn State would have played? You know? What would happen if we had played USC instead? You don't ever know. But regardless of that, you know, it's like those 3 wild card teams, and then it opens up for some of those smaller schools that generally would have no chance to get into a 4-team playoff. Now they get a chance, those smaller schools, to get into. So I am a big proponent to extend the playoff, and I think, you know, getting rid of the non-conference schedule is just about the only way to do it, to extend it out and be able to keep the season the same length. So, but anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll get back with you on Sunday, and have a good weekend. Enjoy college football. This has been Authenticated.